good? Good. That's good. Yo, what's good? What's hood?
It's good, man. Ain't nothing, regular Tuesday over here. I guess in my house, I mean, for you guys don't know what's going that. For you guys that don't know what's going on behind the scenes, every night when we do our show, you know, we start prepping. Mark is already done with dinner. It starts right after his dinner time. I'm usually prepping for dinner, you know. So usually I finish my dinner right before we start the show. I rush it, I do whatever. But today, taking a little extra time, got my little ribeye here, you know what I'm saying? Just so you guys know what's happening behind the scenes. Mm.
That sounds. It
It's a
sounds.
regular Tuesday. It's a regular Tuesday in the Williams household.
Sounds like horrible planning. That's all. That's all I hear is horrible. All I hear is horrible planning.
When life happens, you got to make shit work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See,
I
family
mean,
stuff came up. Wife had to take the kids over to her parents' house. She couldn't cook, but that's fine, Mark.
my
I
God,
don't know what you have for dinner. What you have for dinner last night, man? Wait, tonight, what you have for dinner?
I don't know. I actually, it was leftovers, man. I always, whenever I cook, I make enough for 2 nights. I make enough. I make enough for that night, and then enough so I don't have to cook the next night.
Yeah, if I make that much food, Mark, it's dinner and lunch the next day. That's what happens to my food. So
But nah,
people in this house are against leftovers for some reason.
yeah, they not black. That's all.
That's that's funny. Well, all I'm gonna say is it's just two particular people in my household, and you're right, they're not black, so they're the two that don't want to eat leftovers for dinner. They'll eat it for lunch. You know what I'm saying? They probably eat it for lunch.
they bougie. They
You
too good for it. I guess too good for leftovers.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. Ask my kids if they want. Ask the two little ones if they'll eat the leftover pizza for dinner the next night. They'll say yes. Okay. But
Yeah,
yeah,
man. Welcome to the game, bro. But anyway, look, man, we got a fairly short show for you guys tonight because ain't much going on this week. You know what I mean? Outside of baseball, ain't much going on. And there's no basketball, there's no NBA this week. WNBA is going on, and we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about Maverick Celtics prediction, um, and obviously the elephant in the room, which is Caitlyn Clark, and particularly the media's coverage of Caitlyn Clark.
yeah.
Uh,
Specifically, the media coverage of Caitlyn Clark. I don't want you guys to get it confused and think that we're in here hopping on the nonsense train that the media has been on, by and large. No, we are not a fan of any of that, of what's happening in the way that they're covering the Caitlyn Clark stuff. So
yeah, man, like the way the Caitlyn Clark stuff is being covered is extremely interesting. You got people calling her a white female dog, and like
to be clear, that was a white male that did that. Okay, now it was kind of unexpected, and that part of it was just so out of place compared to the rest of the entire, monologue that he had about it. It's just so it's kind of wild. Like, I get it. You're trying to be funny. I'm not gonna. I give him his credit. He can technically say he's a comedian. He did stand up for a while, and was really good at it. But yeah, man, it was kind of wild and out of place and awkward. But yeah, you got people doing that. You got people calling her savior. Like,
yeah,
give me real white savior vibes. The way that people are treating her and talking about her, and they're damn near coming out and saying the words white savior. It's
right.
it's really disturbing, man.
Yeah, it's a lot going. There's a lot going on around this character.
Yeah.
And I say character because that's what I'm starting to feel like it is. I'm starting to feel like I am watching a movie or a character being played. I'm not watching real people.
Yeah,
Like
well, I feel like the
I'm watching,
person. This 1,000% feels like the Truman Show. The only
right.
person that's being genuine right now is Caitlyn Clark, and she don't know that everybody else is watching her on TV, and everybody's trying to script out her life, man. Like, that's what it feels like to me. It feels like out of everything that we're saying about how the media is covering and how everybody's kind of being weird about her, I don't think she has changed her behavior of anything that she's doing since we all found out about her and started watching her games in college. She's exactly the same person that she was before. I don't think she's doing anything to bring any of this type of attention to herself. This is all everybody else is doing around her, and that's the part of it that makes it even more strange. Mark, is you're seemingly watching somebody just be a regular athlete behavior wise, and somehow this is turning into a media circus.
Yeah,
This ain't T.O. in the driveway doing sit-ups. This ain't Marshawn Lynch saying I'm only here not to get fined, right? It's not somebody doing something that may cause a lot of attention to be put on them.
yeah. No, I feel you. But listen, with that being said, let's just go ahead and get into it. Stop talking around it and talk about it.
Yeah.
So, here we go. What part of the game is that? What happened to the spirit of competition? Listen, even with this being said, like I don't want to talk about this Caitlyn Clark stuff from the standpoint of like these other women are out here to compete, and these people, like, we are now poo-pooing them and all that. I don't want to talk about that. Like, I want to talk about from the standpoint of like the media and the coverage of it. Like they're showing their hand right in front of our face.
Yes.
They are showing you that, hey, you're going to crap out, and or you about to go over, and they got 21. Like they're showing you right away. Like they're showing you what they planned. They let you know that this is all scripted, and basically they're like, hey, you women, you female basketball players, we have a script, and you're going against the script.
Yes, they're being very vocal about it, very clear. Like they're not dancing around it, Mark. They're literally saying this person is bringing forth the advancement, or has the capability of bringing forth the advancement of the WNBA as a league. And why aren't you guys chomping at the bit and jumping out of the window to essentially escort her down the red carpet to lead y'all into the glory land? Like, it's like, what?
Right.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean we should be like? Because they're not saying, "Hey, stop going so hard at her." They're not saying that. They're saying, "No, you guys need to be kissing her butt. You need to be rolling up the red carpet. You need to be allowing her to go freely in and out of the lane." They're saying things, Mark, that, like you said, you're blatantly telling us that there's a script that typically gets followed, or that should be followed, and that should be common knowledge, but yet you guys are following it. They're almost calling them, I'm not going to say almost, they're calling them stupid, Mark.
Yeah. Like, Doug, this is 100%, like, this is 100% right in line with what I'm always talking about when I say, like, don't get too invested. This is sports entertainment. This isn't sports. This is sports entertainment. And media wants it to be that. They want it to be a show. Like, Caitlyn Clark is Jean-Claude Van Damme. She is the action star. You know what I mean? She is the main event. She's Denzel Washington. She's whoever main actor you want her to be. That's who she is. And hey, she don't do her own stunts, so don't get too rough with her. All right.
Now, here's a funny thing, Mark. Because you used the Jean-Claude Van Damme reference, I'm going to pile onto that reference with some information that you probably already familiar with. They don't want her to be Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport. They want her to be Jean-Claude Van Damme in the movie Predator.
Right.
For those of you that don't know, yeah, he was originally cast to play the Predator.
Right.
You know, and you know, there's still footage out there floating around of him in the, you know, in the Predator suit, or, you know, with all the stuff on, you know, doing his, you know, moves and all that stuff. Like, nah, we want you to be the bad guy, and we want you to not be seen. Okay, we want, like, you're in the suit, but we don't know who you are. That's kind of what they're kind of treating her like. That's how they want her to be. They want her to be in the background, instead of being in the forefront. So, yeah, it's.
I don't think they want her to be Caitlyn. They don't want Caitlyn to be in the background at all. They want her to be in the forefront, and they want everything to go her way like it's scripted.
I'm talking about the players. Players. So the media wants Bloodsport Van Damme. The players want you to just be behind the scenes and then your footage to get cut. Yeah.
I mean, I don't see, like, even what you're saying, I gotta disagree with that, because I don't think the players give a damn what she does or how she does it. They just really just, like, they're just out there to play basketball. They're just out there competing. They don't care if she shine or not. They like, nah, man, I'm just out here to play basketball. And if you gonna push me, best believe I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to push you back.
Well, let me put it this way. Let me reword what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they never cared about whether or not she was getting the spotlight until the media has taken it to the lengths of saying that they should let her win, essentially, right? And because, like, it's like when you're at work, right? Everybody's cool with everybody, Mark. Everybody's on an even playing field. Some people are better than others, whatever. Mm-hmm. But when you see the person that you think is your equal getting shoved to the forefront to the front of the line in front of everybody, and you say, we're equal, I've been here longer, you just got here, but somehow you're in the front of the line. Now people are like, no, it's not that they want her all the way in the back of the line. They just want her to be exactly where they feel like she should be. As a rookie, that is good. You know, she shouldn't be. They feel like it's a slap in the face to what they've been doing this entire time, to basically, like, them shoving Caitlyn Clark to the forefront is, I'm not going to say it's figuratively. They're literally saying we had no reason to watch you guys until now, and they're just like she's great for the game and everything, but y'all are really hyping this shit up. You know what I'm saying? It's just like what you say, Mark. Sometimes you feel like somebody is hyping something up too much to the point to where you feel like you have to be the equalizing voice. So I don't feel like they're hating on her. I don't feel like they have any ill will towards her. But they feel like, hey, man, you guys are pushing this too far. You're pushing these narratives way too far, and we are here to keep everything grounded.
No, I mean, I can see.
I'm talking about the words, Mark. I'm talking about the words and the things that their WNBA players are saying.
No, I can see that, but like I also. Yeah. But yeah, like, I see it more so because they're being asked about it. Like, leave me the fuck. Like, they're more like, just leave me alone. Shut up. I don't care. Like,
well, they feel like they shouldn't be being asked about it, which I agree with them. They shouldn't be being asked about it all the time.
But back to the point of the fact of what was happening in media and how we watching Stephen A. Smith say, "Oh, like Caitlyn, like this is the basically like." Yo, this is the cash cow, or like you guys should basically everybody's saying like you guys should just bow down a little bit or be more appreciative, like put her in bubble wrap. And it's like, no, I'm on the other team, dog. Like, that's the responsibility of her teammates if they want to do that. But if they don't want to do that, that's fine as well. But like, I'm on the other team. I'm trying to win the game, and you guys are sitting here telling me, hey, walk like this is what we're going to do. We want her in the forefront. We want to show her off. This is how we do this. They did it before. The media has done this before. They did it. They did it to Russ. Remember when Russ and KD was on the same team, and Russ would try to take over games, or Russ would have his games where he's ball dominant and he's the leading scorer, or whatever. Like you remember First Take with Stephen A.
And
Skip when they was talking about, hey, like you need to take a back seat to KD.
Move out the way.
Yeah, like
they were talking crazy, and I'm like, KD don't want him to move out the way. Why are you worried about like? And yes, I do agree with I do remember that distinctly, that they were basically saying you need to make yourself smaller so that KD can shine. And
right.
That's kind of what they're preaching, and that's exactly what they're preaching right now to the WNBA players. Make yourself smaller so that we can build up Caitlyn Clark.
And it's like, no, like Caitlyn Clark did the job that she was supposed to do. The job that her and Angel Reese was supposed to do, which was get more eyes on the game. More eyes are now on the game. And now what people are realizing is that, oh, it's not that Caitlyn Clark is some fantastic new thing to the WNBA. They're starting to see like, oh, there's other people that can ball in the WNBA. Like that's the players are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Hey, I'm gonna show out when this girl is on the court, because everybody watching. I'm gonna show out. I'm gonna make sure I put on a show. This is gonna be a show. Like, I mean, now people are trying to make it seem like Caitlyn Clark is out here being treated like Michael Jordan against the bad boys. That's not what's happening. Caitlyn Clark is out here playing the game, and she's giving it, but then she's hiding her hand and not taking it. Like, because she was the woman that she had the issue with, that the quote unquote flagrant and all that, it was just a regular hard foul, but the woman she had an issue with, like she started that. She was talking trash, she was bumping her and hitting her, and then so when the girl came back out and was like, I'm gonna give you a little bit of something. Like, the difference was that woman, she didn't fall when Caitlyn was hitting her and all that. She wasn't doing none of that. Caitlyn pulled the LeBron and fell out. Like she pulled her best LeBron move, and she felt somebody hit her, and she was like, "Oh, time to flop," which some of us who have seen Caitlyn for a few times now, and the ones that are willing to call her out on it, this is what she does. She flops.
She's been doing it for the past couple of years of college. But real quick, I say the biggest difference between the two incidents that you're talking about, Caitlyn Clark on the other end, and what's her name? It's Kennedy.
Yeah.
What the difference is, if the ball was in play, I don't think they would have called it a flagrant one, because the ball was like they had just handed the ball to the player to do the inbound. I think that's something. I think that's also why it didn't get called in the beginning as a flagrant.
Right.
And I also feel like when they reviewed it, that's why they called it a flagrant, because they reviewed the tape and said, well, the ball's not even in play. It's not even. She's on defense. It's one thing if you're on offense, you could just say that's a hard box out. But you're on defense, you're not on offense. The ball's not in play. But that's neither here nor there. These are regular occurrences in basketball, Mark, right? These are regular occurrences in basketball. And if you watch, I don't watch a lot of WNBA. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that
right.
I do. But I do watch some WNBA. And I can tell you right now, the attitude that Kennedy had, where you can see she's saying some slick shit to her, and she's walking up and then she gives her the hard foul. That's normal. I'll be honest with you, that's a normal thing in the WNBA, they talk a lot of trash, Mark, and they tend to um, they get fired up a lot, Mark, and they do. There's hard fouls that come off of that. I think just a little bit more so in the WNBA than the NBA. So, like I said, it's even more commonplace in the WNBA versus what you see in the NBA. So, I just don't think people are making it seem like, okay, they're out here targeting her, right? The same way that they made it seem that way with the Angel Reese hard foul. They try to make it seem like these ladies are being targeted, but they're not, man. This is just how they play in the WNBA.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
yeah, but the Angel Reese hard foul was much harder than anything Caitlyn Clark has.
no, it was. Yeah,
That hard foul.
that was definitely harder. And like you said, Caitlyn, she fell to the ground. She always falls to the ground on contact. She always flops or whatever. But the main point here is they're trying to treat Caitlyn Clark. I'm not trying to. The media is treating her with kid gloves. And it's kind of the point that the WNBA players are making is, look, you're playing in the big leagues now. This is you're having a lot of welcome to the WNBA moments that I personally, as a fan of basketball, think it's a rite of passage, right? And when it comes to defending Caitlyn Clark, right? You said that's the team. That's up to the team. As an individual team, how you want to treat her. If you, as an individual team, want to treat her as the superstar, or you want to protect her by having an enforcer and all that stuff, that's up to y'all. That is an internal team thing. That has nothing to do with all the other teams you're playing. I watched a video recently where Shaq was talking about how he, they asked him if he had ever, did a little Ricky Hazen to Kobe, and he said he did one time. And he said,
and then he immediately got called in the office.
They said they had everybody. They had Jerry West. Everybody showed up to the office. And they basically told that man, nah, not Kobe. All right? Because everybody in that office knew what Kobe could and should mean to the organization. But like you said, that's an internal thing. They weren't going filing complaints to the league office saying that people are mistreating her, because from what I understand, that's what the front office for the Indiana Fever has been doing. But no, they're not. Nobody. They didn't go and ask the other NBA teams to leave Kobe alone. Like, they just made sure internally everybody understood what he meant to the team. They weren't trying to promote him to the entire league. And that's my issue with the media. They're trying to get everybody in the entire league on a program of, no, this person should be important. This person should be important to you. The safety of this person should be important to you. And to me, it's like, no, man, you're the ops. You're my enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. We going into war on this basketball court. Ain't no way I'm not out here treating you like anything. Bigger picture. There is no bigger picture, man. When when Karl Malone is taking Isaiah Thomas out of the sky with an elbow to the face, there was nobody there saying, hey, man, we need Isaiah Thomas. You know what I mean? This is unprecedented what's happening. Real quick, I'm going to get to some of these comments real quick. Mark. I see Kate says Caitlyn is only relevant because of Angel. I think this is a twofold part here, King Mike. Caitlyn and Angel are connected.
They
and I think that sure. They would have been important. They would have been important and relevant without the other person being there, but they are exponentially more relevant because of the situation and the back and forth that they had, and because of it being a tandem, they are more relevant. I think back to the days of Magic. Magic was relevant no matter what. Bird was relevant no matter what. But the rivalry made everything else. It just made the NBA more exponentially visible. It made the NBA more of a must-watch thing. So them to like individually they're relevant. Together they made college basketball, women's college basketball more relevant. Together they make the WNBA more relevant. I don't think one could do that on their own. It looks like Caitlyn Clark is doing that on her own, but let's be honest, to your point, without the back and forth stuff with Angel Reese, I don't think that she would have this much eyes on her. So I do understand where you're coming from when you say she's only relevant because of Angel Reese. I don't think she's only relevant because of it, but I think it's a big part of her relevance as far as it's concerning how big she is right now when it comes to her value, quote unquote, her perceived value to the WNBA.
I feel as though they feed each other.
Yes, they do. And
every great, basically they had their rival that helped propel them a little bit higher in popularity. Jordan was the only one. Jordan came along and he was by himself. You know what I'm saying? But when early on, it was.
But you have to be an alien Michael Jordan though. Let's be real. You see, Michael Jordan is alien. Wemby doesn't need a rival.
Right.
Okay. But Michael Jordan didn't need a rival. I'm sure Wilt didn't need one, but I can imagine how people felt back in the day with him.
With him and Oscar.
Or him and Bill Russell. Yeah. But those guys, when you're like that, you don't need a rival. So I don't want to. Yeah, we bringing up Michael Jordan, but his case is different.
Yeah,
everybody else needs that.
But but honestly, it's just weird that the conversation, even outside of that, how much the conversation has already changed around the WNBA. You have Stephen A. Smith getting offended because somebody said Monica McNutt said that you weren't covering the WNBA 3 years ago. And he's all shocked. You weren't covering them 3 years ago.
Shannon Sharp said nobody was.
Exactly. That's not an insult. That's a factual thing. Nobody was covering them 3 years ago. Why are you upset about that? And why are you bringing up who celebrates more women? Who has more women on this platform than me? No, but that wasn't the question, Stephen A.
Real quick, I'm going to address that only because I watched the beginning parts of Stephen A's apology. Not apology, but his follow-up. He followed up same day on his podcast.
Yeah.
And he started off by, I didn't even get into what his explanation or any of that stuff, but he started off by saying, what are you talking about? He's like, everybody knows that women are the most important. If you have the women audience, the woman audience, the female audience, then that's what launches you into success. He said women launched, because he was trying to use it as a counterpoint to say, women launched the NFL into success, right? They helped with that. They helped with the NBA. Why haven't women helped the WNBA into that same level of success? The reason why the WNBA hasn't had that type of success or eyes on them is because of the women not being there. But it's funny because he said it in a way to say, once you have the women support, then that's the basis of your success at a high level. You cannot have a high level of success in the world in anything that you do, whether in sales, whether it comes to movies, all these other things, if you do not have the core female audience. He said it wins elections, Mark. So I was like, you're saying all these things trying to make a point, but you just tell them on yourself. Right. He got in defense mode and brought up all the stuff about who's been more coverage, who's been better at covering the women's sport. He's trying to keep the boy was out there tap dancing, Mark. He was trying to keep the female audience from turning on them in that moment. It wasn't about right or wrong. It wasn't about the point. He was like, oh shit, I better clean this up. She's attacking me on this level.
But she wasn't even attacking him. She just told him.
We know, but this is the problem when you're a company man, Mark. You wake up every day thinking about how you can make your employers money. You also think about how you don't want to lose them any money. Okay, that's a fear of yours. It's an active fear in your mind. So he is operating off of fear in that moment. He wasn't thinking, Mark. He too busy trying to make his employers money and try to make sure he ain't losing it for it. So he looked crazy. Let's be honest, Mark. He looked crazy.
No, he looks like everything he did was very distasteful. Like it was very distasteful to bring up, like, oh yeah, you know who Monica met now is because of me. Like, be grateful. Like, you might as well have said, Peon, how dare you talk to me that way? I made you. You might as well have said that.
Yeah.
Like, it was very weird, and it's like, bro, like, how dare you? And this is partly my problem with Stephen A. today. Well, it's not partly. It's a lot of my problem with Stephen A. today. Stephen A. today makes himself seem as though he is beyond reproach, as though he cannot be challenged and he does no wrong. And if you call him out on it, he's going to bring up stuff from 7 years. He's going to bring up a favor that he did for you 7 years ago. Remember that time you didn't have no sugar for Kool-Aid? I gave you that sugar. Remember that? You weren't thirsty because of me. Like, what? Yeah. Like, what are you talking about right now? That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Like, and because I'm gonna tell you right now, Monica, Stephen A. has shown himself to be a petty man. Your days are numbered.
Hey, every single video that I seen, I look at the comment section and they was like, we won't be seeing her on First Take for a while. Like, that shit, like, we know what it is, Mark. We know what it is, man. And it's funny because the whole time, Shannon Sharp had his mouth shut.
Shannon knew. He was like,
hey, he knew what it was. He kept his mouth shut. Shannon ain't say nothing. He didn't make no faces or nothing, boy. And then guess what? Shannon Sharp had her on nightcap last night. Yeah. Hey, let her speak her piece and everything. See, Shannon playing the long game. Stephen A. got caught up. You know what I'm saying? And somebody threw him for a loop and he tripped up, man. Hey, Shannon Sharp was like, yeah, it's a good thing Stephen A. tripped up. I'm about to capitalize on this, man, because I'm telling you right now, Shannon Sharp knew what was up. Everybody on that panel knew what's up. Ain't nobody else was arguing there except for Stephen A. And then it's funny because she said she's talking about in general, and then because of him being so like, oh, what are you talking about? She's like, you Stephen A. You made her say your name, bro. Like,
you weren't covering them. Nobody was. It's okay.
It's like you with your platform. Like, you don't act like it wasn't happening. Like,
right. Like, so, but it's just it's all just very interesting. Yeah.
It was a weird hill. Hey, Mark, weird hill to die on. Remember we was just talking about
exactly.
It's a weird hill to die on, man. Like,
your hill got weird crevices, man. Like, what's up with all those bumps? Like, I don't understand that. Like,
yeah, you think you'd pick a more aesthetically pleasing hill? Ugly hill to die on, my guy. What are you doing?
like why the trees stick out sideways? I don't
know, man. That was weird, but he played himself on national television. That's the way I felt like.
Yeah, well, it seems like a lot of people felt that way, man.
Yeah, and I'm glad that it feels like the general populace is starting to see what Stephen.
Yeah, the cracks is starting to show a little bit.
Yeah, if he's not careful, he gonna end up in the same hell that Skip Bayless is in right now. Because nobody watch that over there.
It'll be a long time before that, but hey, man, shout out to Stephen A. though.
Yeah.
But look, man, I'm not keeping things in basketball. The NBA Finals is coming up. Sean asked me a question earlier about how did I feel about the long layoff before the finals and the championship. And I like the long layoff only because if one of these series or both of these series were to go to Game 7, it wouldn't be as long of a layoff, and they still would have had a few days rest. And I like that for these players because in a situation where you have the Celtics who swept and the Mavericks, let's say they went to game 7, if it was with the old schedule, you would be in a situation now where Celtics have a lot of rest and Mavericks have no rest, and they're going directly into a finals. And now the Celtics have a perceived advantage, and they definitely have an advantage when it comes to the rest of when it comes to the conditioning of their body because it was allowed to rest. So with that being said, I think that things will go a little bit differently in the finals. I like to see how teams are when they're rested. So, Sean, I'm gonna ask you, what's your prediction for this finals, man?
Real quick, I'm seeing two different predictions from the comment section. Mo Green said Mavs 4-2. Mike Hall said Celtics.
No,
he wants the Celtics.
Yeah, he didn't say that's not a prediction. That's a desire.
That's a desire, but I'm gonna assume that his prediction ain't that far off. Now, but with that said, I do find it to be one of the more polarizing ones. Usually, there's a consensus or a majority feeling of this team is better than the other team, or this team is better suited to win. I feel like this is a toss-up, Mark. I feel like this series is going to be better than what most people think it is, whether you think the Mavs are going to win or whether you think the Celtics are going to win. So me personally, my prediction for this finals. And Mark, what did you say? What do you tell the sports bettors out there? Think.
Yeah.
The Omni-Man. Think.
They want you to win.
You got to think. What's better for the league? Boston in 7 games. Boston in 7 games is what I'm predicting. I think this series, anybody that thinks this series is going to be over in less than 6 games, I don't think so. I think they're off on the predictions. But I got Celtics in 7. If there wasn't such a high interest in the Celtics winning and also such a high interest in keeping Kyrie from being up on a podium in front of everybody, I would have the Mavs in 7. But because of those details, I got the Celtics in 7. But I'm expecting a back and forth series for this. So what do you got? What's your prediction, Mark?
Oh man, my prediction is Celtics not Celtics. My prediction is if I'm keeping my conspiracy theory brain out of it and keeping it to basketball, like just the matchups, my prediction is Mavericks in 6.
And I respect that. That's why I smiled when Mo put up his Mavs 4-2. I smiled. I smiled because it's very possible. I think if you look at the coaching gap, it's very plausible, right? It should happen.
Well,
you look at the talent of the top guys and what they do best and what the teams do best and what they don't do best and who's actually playing up to the potential of the team and the players. Let's be honest, Mavs are playing to their potential, to their max potential, I believe, at this point. So I trust that more than I trust a team that may or may not be doing something.
Well, I'm gonna just tell you, for me, what it comes down to is you have a Mavericks team who offensively has one player that when he's on, can't be stopped. And then you have another player who is just offensively sound. All his fundamentals are there. So you and the Mavericks play a little bit more. They play more defense than the Celtics. They just do. And the Celtics, since Ime has left, they have moved to a offensively driven team, and that was their downfall last year. Was in the playoffs, their downfall was that they don't really play defense, and that's going to be their downfall again. They're not going to have. At least that's the way my basketball brain sees it. Is that you're not going to have the tools defensively because your coach is far less worried about what's going on defense. Like, and you and I in our conversation earlier, you were talking about how when the Celtics win big is because like they were just offensive juggernauts that night. Hey man, fuck that defensive rating shit. Like, do not talk to me.
He's a Boston fan,
NBA.
He's a Boston fan, bro.
Do not talk to me about no goddamn NBA defensive stats. Like, come on, man. 90% of NBA stats are bullshit. Like true shooting and all that. Like, and the plus minus. Come on, man. Like, stop it.
Rob, I'm gonna say something to you because I'm gonna challenge you on this if you want to bring it up, right? Mark, I've said this a million times, and I always use the reference point of the Panthers, the Cam Newton MVP 15-1 Panthers. Was their defense? Was their offense that great, or was it the fact that their defense was so good that they were putting the offense in a position to where they were taking more chances? So it makes, and when you do that and you turn the ball over 5 times a game, and then the end score is 55 points, it looks like your offense is just on fire. But in reality, you got a bunch of short fields. Like, look, Boston has been in a lot of blowouts this year, all season long during the regular season, not just the playoffs, bro. Like, their teams play them differently, man, trying to keep up. Is their defense that great? I don't know. I'm going to tell you. Okay, so here's the other part I'm going to challenge you on, Rob. Dog, when you watch them play defense, do you believe that with the defensive personnel that they have on their team, Drew Holiday, Devin White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, right? When you look at those guys, do you think that their defensive output when it comes to holding teams to a lower score, do you think it matches the talent that's on that team? And I'm going to tell you that their defensive output does not match the talent on that team. I feel like the T-Wolves got more defensively out of their players and their team than Boston ever did the entire year. But Boston by far has the more superior defensive players. That says something to me. Forget about what their ratings are. Are they playing up to their potential?
Right.
Because right now they haven't been challenged. Let's be honest. They haven't played 2 superstars yet in the playoffs, Mark.
No.
They haven't played 2 healthy superstars yet in the playoffs. What are they going? Number one, Mark, they don't have an answer for Kyrie. I don't think there's anybody on Boston that can guard Kyrie. Okay? Drew Holiday cannot guard Kyrie. Drew Holiday can guard damn near everybody else in the league that's a point guard. He can't guard Kyrie.
Hey, Rob, hold on. I'm sorry. Please hold that thought. Because I got to answer this. Rob just be saying stuff sometimes, man.
Yeah.
But he says, does the Mavs have any players on an all-defensive team? Hey, Rob, Rudy Gobert won Defensive Player of the Year.
Hey, no explanation needed after that statement, Mark. No explanation needed after that statement. Hey, Rob, it's funny because the same people that vote for this said that they said that Jaylen Brown wasn't all NBA. Do you agree with that? He wasn't an all NBA guy, not first team, second team, or third team. Do you believe it? Like, you can't tell me, nah, man, they out here robbing people, but then say, well, look at all these all defensive. Nah, you can't do that, man. Either you believe in the system or you don't, Rob. So, yeah. Thank you. See, Mo is in here spitting, Mark. I don't know if you've been seeing his comments. He in here spitting.
Yes, I am seeing them.
he in there spitting, man.
Hey, Rob, let's be honest, man. Like, My conspiracy theory brain says Boston's going to win, like because they don't want Kyrie to get it. Celtics is a storied franchise. Like, yeah, man.
Hey, Mark, I got to bring up one more thing, man. I can't see Rob. Look, Rob, I know you're a Boston fan. I know you're riding for your team right now, but this has got to be the most ridiculous statement that I've seen from you today. Dallas has had the easy way to now, Mark. Coming from a Boston fan right now, there was nothing easy
Boston
about
has played everybody Boston played, someone was injured. Everyone. They had a player get injured either in the series or before the series. Every single series. Like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah. See, your fanhood's getting in the way. Your fanhood's getting in the way, Rob. I know you're smarter than that. To say anybody's had an easy path. There's been whole debates since freaking the second round about how easy the road for Boston has been. All right, this is one of the easiest routes that I've seen, or easiest paths to the NBA Finals that I've ever seen. We had a whole episode. Well, we had a topic on the episode where we talked about it as far as whether or not Boston should be penalized or downgraded for that. And we talked about two things could be true at once. Boston could be a phenomenal team, and they also could have an easy road. We're not poo-pooing Boston, but let's be honest, man. They've had the easiest road in the playoffs in years, to this year included. Nothing was easy about playing the T-Wolves, who at the time was the hottest team going into that Western Conference Finals. Come on, man. Stop it.
All right, see. Yeah. Then Mo go and say something like Luka is better than any player on Boston.
I'm never going to say that when you have elite two-way players on Boston. Jason Tatum is better than Luka. Damn, Mark, why am I here? Why do I have to be the one to say that, man? You know I don't be riding for Jason Tatum like that, Mark, but
hey, man.
Keep it 100, man. Like, one person plays defense, the other one doesn't. And one of those people plays defense at an elite level. We're not doing that. Nah, stop it right now.
But it's funny because we're talking about Jason Tatum that brings us back to our point, and it brings us back full circle, because Jason Tatum has the ability to play defense, but under this new coach, at the team defense is not there.
It's not prioritized.
Yeah, and it hurts the team a little bit, in my opinion. Like, it hurts their chances, in my opinion. I don't see them doing well against a team that can create so easily like Dallas. I just don't see it.
Yeah, Boston's not going to come into this series and make the Mavericks less efficient in scoring. I don't think Boston's defense is going to do that. Maybe you feel that way. Maybe some people feel that way. Mark, do you feel that way? Do you think that they're going to be able to, quote unquote, stop the Mavs from kind of doing what they want to offensively?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I do think it will be a close series. I think it'll be a good series. I don't see this going the way that.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you there, Mo. Absolutely, I believe that's a game that's going to happen, and you're being generous by saying 30. Right. It'll be like 38 and 14. It'll be like 38, 14 and 10. But
Mo, because I'm not going to argue that he can get a triple-double. Yes, he can get a triple-double, of course. That still doesn't make him the best player on either side of the ball.
Yeah, on the court in that series. It's not.
Yeah.
I respect defense. I respect defense way too much, Mark, for me to sit here and look at Jason Tatum on the other side.
No, I just respect what the other players are able to do, even offensively, in their bags.
Oh, yeah. You're not gonna thank you. You're not gonna tell me that you have somebody that you can say is an equal on offense, but then light years ahead on defense, and say that Luka's better than that.
Or I don't even think or you can't even say that when Luka isn't the best person offensively on his own team.
Yeah, but people will argue that just because of his ability to facilitate. But honestly, Mark, I'm with you. The Luka. I like Luka. I like Luka's game a lot.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just
love Luka, man.
Don't do that.
But I'm not the same. Hey, I love Luka. He don't play defense. I love LeBron. He flops. He picks and chooses when he wants to play defense. He picks and chooses when he wants to take over a game, even if he should or shouldn't. These are flaws that they have, and I can't look at somebody that has the glaring flaws that Luka has and say he's the best player on the court.
Right. Absolutely not.
He said, what's more respected, defense or leadership? Let's be honest. Luka's leadership has been in question all the way up until this playoffs. We can't just all of a sudden give him that leadership stamp just because he's taken strides as a leader recently.
Hold up, and Mo,
recency bias, man.
Let's be very clear, Mo. And up until this Wolves series, Luka hasn't been the best player in the playoffs on his team, and to the point of Luka having to apologize, or not having to, but choosing to apologize to Kyrie because he's like, I feel like Kyrie is taking on a load more so than he should have to. These are words coming out of Luka's mouth. So
yeah, we're not.
I mean, come on now.
Look, and I don't, like I said, very, very much so recency bias. Let's be honest. The verdict was not out on his leadership coming into this season. Matter of fact, it was on the other side of leadership, of everybody saying that he's not a great leader and he can't seem to lead a team. That's been the story on him all the way up to this point. So I can't give you that. Now, I'm not telling you there's better leaders on Boston. I'm not saying that, because their leadership is in question too, if you ask me. So no, but not, man. But to answer your question, which one is more respected? I think by the media and the general populace, leadership is more respected. I personally, in my book, they're both respected equally, but I think leadership is more important. But that's a complicated thing to break down, because you could be if you look at all of the best leaders that have graced the NBA, when you talk about somebody like, man, they're just a great leader, right? Nobody ever said Dirk Nowitzki was a great leader. They talk about Tim Duncan. They talk about Kobe. They talk about Jordan. All these guys play defense. There is not a leader that existed in the NBA that didn't play some type of high level of defense, man. Like, you look at LeBron in his peak. You look at Jason Kidd. Leaders play defense, bro. That's what I'm gonna tell you right now.
Hey, you might be right, but look, man, I think it's going to be Dallas's chance to win it all. But I think, but honestly, when it comes down to how it will be reffed and what ends up happening, I think it's going to come down to Boston.
Yeah.
So I think the favoritism will come down to Boston. So it's going to be
if the series is going to be as close as I believe it's going to be, those calls are going to matter.
Right.
And
100%.
Yeah. And if they're going to be leaned towards Boston, then that's going to be part of the deciding factor. But that's, like I said, that's why I said 4-3 Boston.
But I could tell you guys what wasn't close What wasn't close was the fight Deontay Wilder had recently.
Oh
That was
man,
close at all.
hey,
The
now
mighty
go
has
ahead.
the mighty has fallen. You, the faithful, is now looking for the exits. And hey, man, this was a long time coming for Deontay. I mean, well, it's been happening to him, but now it's officially time to hang it up. But on some real stuff, Deontay was a great champion for, like, he honestly was, because the dude can't box. Like, he's easily one of the greatest brawlers to ever hit a
Yeah, you said potentially. I think he is. He stretched what should have been 15 minutes to about an hour and a half, Mark. That's the way I look at his level of success that he's had in boxing, man. First off, I'm going to stop you right there. I never believed in his supposed power. The man has power. We're not going to say supposed power.
Or at least he had it. Or at least he had it.
Yes, he did. Like, we're not going to say supposed. Now, mind you, people don't realize, or they don't remember, or they don't think about this fact. The man is old.
Yeah,
okay, he's like 40. He started late.
He started late in his life.
He was above the age of 30 when he started. Okay, he started really late, man. You got to understand. So those are things that go as you get older, Mark. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this man never had power. That power was real, Mark. It was not for play. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the things that makes him, in my mind, the best brawler, because you're not supposed to survive like that. But the power was there to the point to where it wasn't just, hey, I heard about his power. People watched it live on TV. Them boxers that he had to go fight, they watched it live on TV like everybody else did. And it struck fear in their hearts, man. Like,
hey, King is saying, hey, man, some of those knockouts ain't real. I'll go rewatch. I'll go rewatch, man. I will rewatch.
Well, first off, if you want to talk about Foreman is a different. Foreman is just a different beast, because Foreman is somebody that he's an actual boxer that also happened to have power. But even if you look at Foreman in his younger years, because I watched all the boxing, I watched a lot of the old fights, I watched everything, right? You look at his fights in his younger years, he wasn't as skilled boxing. Foreman actually, to me, got better in his older years because he became a more polished boxer and he still had the power. So yeah, but even in his younger days, Foreman wasn't a brawler. I won't disrespect Foreman's boxing skill set. Even in his younger years, I won't disrespect his boxing skill set to say that he was a brawler. I didn't consider him to be a brawler. You power puncher, I don't care what you call him. But I'm not gonna. A brawler is somebody that is going into the ring without skill set. Okay, and they're beating people with skill sets. Purely, they're in there throwing wild punches and stuff. Because let's be honest, that's what Wilder was doing. He was in there throwing wild punches that they teach you not to throw. Like, Foreman was throwing clean punches, man. Like, Foreman's not a brawler. That's crazy. That's crazy, Mo. Hey, that's a crazy troll. Yeah, but here we go. Here's a question. And real quick, King Mike, you said Wilder fought hype jobs. We know the competition that Wilder was fighting. That's why me and Mark preached for years that Wilder, when he fights a real boxer, that he was going to have trouble. We thought it was going to be Anthony Joshua, and it turned out to be Tyson Fury. So, but no, we knew it was coming. We knew who he was fighting. All right, so Rob here says, what do y'all think about the Canelo and Crawford potential fight? King Mike, when I said trolling, I was talking about Mo Green. Mo Green was saying Jake Paul would body all of them. Yeah, I wasn't talking about you. Go ahead.
But what I feel about it,
Yeah.
I don't feel no way about it. In general, I don't feel no way about anybody's fights until I see their camp.
Yeah.
That's just me. I don't know.
I don't want to see this fight, Mark. This is one of the few times I don't want to see it. I seen posts about it. I didn't know if the posts were real or fake, so I never brought it up. But Canelo was a lot bigger than Crawford.
Yeah.
And Crawford would have to go up and Canelo would have to come down. That's the reason why I don't want to see the fight. Anytime one person has to come down and the other person has to go up, or one person has to go up 2 weight classes, which is very rare, but I've seen Tank do it. Like, I don't want to see those fights, Mark. Because essentially what you have is 2 people that shouldn't be fighting. So, I mean, if Canelo were to win that fight, does that add anything to Canelo's legacy? I don't think so, but somebody will try to make it so by saying he fought a name and not putting the context behind it, and that's the way I see it. I'm not a fan of these types of matchups.
I see.
Yeah, so that's me personally, but for namesake and talking about 2 guys that are at the top, yeah, that would be a dope fight. But for me, it's not something I'd be interested in, because I'll be honest with you, Canelo should win that fight just because of size advantage, all that stuff. One person having to bulk up, one person having to slim down. There'd be all kind of crazy clauses in that fight too. I ain't fucking with Golden Boy like that. But actually, no, Canelo moved away from Golden Boy, right? Yeah.
But
yeah.
That's pretty much the episode today. There aren't a lot going on in sports right now. Hopefully the WNBA continues to be what it is, and we see more from it, and we can actually have something to talk about before football starts, because once football starts, then that's what it is. That's what we do here. But anyway, Sean, you have anything for the people before we head out?
No, not really. Only thing I would like to say real quick is we really appreciate you guys showing up week in and week out. We really appreciate the interaction that y'all give us with the comments and everything. Definitely always keep in mind, if there's anything that you guys want us to talk about, you would like us to talk about during a live stream, if you think of it during a live stream, please comment or mention it. Ask us the question the same way that Mo Green was like, hey, what's more important? You can feel free to ask us questions, but also you guys see us in some of these Facebook groups. You guys are friends with us on Facebook, man. Message us and bring up a topic if you want to see it on the show, man. But other than that, man, appreciate y'all.
They brought up the Padres player getting a lifetime ban for betting on games. Yeah, man. Like,
it's crazy out there. Hey, Mark. If that motherfucker could pitch and hit like Ohtani, he might have been able to get away with it.
They'll blame it on his wife. Like,
look, they'll let you come up with whatever excuse you want if you're good enough, man. I'm just saying, if you could pitch and hit like Ohtani, maybe you still be around, brother. But let's call that what it is. That boy, they let that boy Ohtani walk. They said, "Look, man, we need you."
He came in there like Rihanna. You need me.
That man, they say Ohtani in there. I speak no English, man. That man was in there talking about he didn't understand what's going on, man. All of a sudden now he illiterate. Yeah, boy, that's crazy, man. It's like Rafael Palmeiro showing up to the steroids hearing with a translator. Boy, you've been speaking perfect English for the last 25 years, boy. Now you need a translator. Sammy Sosa, you need a translator now? Okay. Like,
Crazy.
yeah, man. Man, it must be nice to always fall back on, hey, man, I don't understand the language like that.
Wow.
Oh, look, no, Rob, look, man. Hey, everybody that gets caught betting says it's the accountant's fault. Except for Pete Rose. Pete Rose was logging his bets personally himself. That's how he got caught. Everybody else since been using accountants. You know, but hey, look. Hey, blame it on the account. Hey, I didn't know what kind of bets he was making. I didn't know what he was doing. He was just taking my money. I didn't ask him what he's doing to invest it. Like, okay, cool. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, but that's all we got, guys.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so, man, we'll catch y'all on the flip next Tuesday. See y'all. And we will have another fire episode ready for you guys.
Yep.
Until then, remember, like I always say, man, it's only entertainment. Don't get too invested. And when you make that bet, always think to yourself, what do they want to see happen?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.